Hi, welcome to the first ever video of my YouTube channel, I guess. I don't really know, should I look in the camera? Should I look at me? I feel like probably looking at myself might be the easiest. Makes me feel like I'm actually talking to people. So we'll do that. If you're not here from Instagram, my name is Ariana. I'm a model, I'm an actress, and I write, and I live in Vancouver, which is so cool. I've been wanting to live here for forever, and I finally, I don't know, finally did it. Now I just act and write, and now I'm starting a YouTube channel. So welcome. Um, I thought this might be honestly, okay, so what to expect from my channel. I'm probably mostly gonna do story times. Um, I used to direct. I don't really know if I'm going to keep doing that. I do have some ideas, but if I do actually execute any of those ideas, they'll also be uploaded onto here. So welcome, like I said. Anyway, yeah, like I said before too, I thought this might be a really good topic for, I guess, just the first video. Lots of weird things end up happening in my life. Honestly, because of what I do, but I love it and I don't want to give it up. So you just learn to work with the challenges, take it day by day, as my friend Elle says. I love Elle. But anyway, so something that happened when I first moved to Vancouver in January 2025 was I don't even know how to describe it. I was almost kind of scouted for this sponsorship opportunity. So pretty much I have been modeling for 10 years at this point. I've acted for 2. And this past year has been when I've actually been getting regular bookings and doing it as a job, instead of just oh, sometimes I get paid for it, but I just like pretty photos. So it's been weird. Anyway, the sponsorship thing, they found me because I had applied for this horror movie casting, and they just kind of kept my information on file. So the girl who was the casting director, she got in contact with me and she was like, "Hey, my team and I are really interested in you. We would love to further interview you about this role, but also some other stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Why not?" So I was talking to her for maybe a month, and she seemed fine. I still think that her and the other girls that are involved in it, aside from maybe the owner of this business, are okay. But it's just, it's controlling, and I'll get to that at that point. Or sorry, I'll get to that at some point. But I feel like a lot of girls, and especially myself when I was a lot younger and not as experienced, are very kind of captivated by this imaginary life that people think that you lead as a model or an actress or whatever the fuck you want to do. If it's in the public eye, people just kind of have an immediate perception of it. And to be honest, it's really not as glamorous as people think. And like I said, I do it because I genuinely love to. I love being on set. I love meeting new people, and it gives me a way to express myself, I guess. And explore different facets of myself, because acting really is just kind of pulling from you and putting that into your character. So with modeling, it's kind of like that, except you have to be a very heightened, confident version of yourself on camera. And so who I am when I'm actually posing and working and stuff is a lot different than who I am day to day and to my friends and my family, because those are two separate worlds that I have. So anyway, I feel like a lot of girls especially tend to get really kind of pulled in by this. And this thing, I was warned about how controlling Hollywood is before I actually had them come to me. Yeah, I don't know. It had always been like a topic with my family because when I was 16 and I was first starting modeling, I got falsely scouted by this person who was claiming to be from a really big agency in New York. And we ended up calling the agency, and they actually had a lawsuit against her. So, and she was like, actually, she used to be a scout for them and then just like got fired under mysterious circumstances or suspicious. I think they used the term suspicious, but either way, it was super freaky. And so my mom obviously like warned me about it. My grandma warned me about it. And then also being like 18, 19, 20 and going to these shoots often alone, unless there's a makeup artist, it's just something you have to be really mindful of. So when they came to me and they were proposing all of this stuff to me of just, we can get you roles, we can get you onto Netflix, we can get you into HBO shows, I was already like really skeptical because I'm like, why would you want me, you know? Like not that I think that like I'm horrible, but realistically, like I really didn't have that much acting experience. I had been in like kind of a bigger music video for Spirit Box, which got over 1 million views. It's Perfect Soul, and I am at the 2 minute and 50-second time frame. So I'm there. I'm a nurse. It wasn't like a super huge role or anything. I was just there. But that was so cool. And so I have that, and then I have like some student films that I've done. And after I got the sponsor is when I started getting more experience. Not through them either, through my own bookings. So I was generally really confused. I was like, okay, like that's strange. They knew about my labor law advocacy work, which is something I do, and it's why I'm in school. I would eventually like to specialize in some sort of like human rights law thing or entertainment law, or like kind of like cross them over. I don't really know. Initially it was entertainment law, and now I'm like more interested in other stuff too. So anyway, I was just like, why, you know? So it was interesting. I just kind of like observed it, and eventually, after talking to the founder of this company as well as the girl that had initially like gotten in contact with me, being like, hey, we really like your stuff, we want to like keep you on file and like actually build a relationship with you, I was like, okay, you know. So after talking to them, they got me in contact with one of the really big investor people from this influencer modeling, acting sort of girl group thing. And I will say I can't name them because I signed an NDA. And unfortunately, if I do, I will get sued up the ass. So I can't, but it was legit. And this guy had like helped develop the careers of like Paris Hilton and other people. And like, yes, Paris Hilton's an heiress, but you know, there are heiresses that like aren't super well known. And she does a lot more. Like she did fashion modeling, she did, I think she like designed some things. Either way, this guy had a lot of money. And so he pretty much had gotten in contact with me, seen that I had tons of experience, and also was already really involved in advocacy work, and was like, hey, we really like what you're doing. We would love to help you on a bigger scale. So I was like, what do you mean by that? What does that entail? And it pretty much meant that they would be putting me in specific events to be seen by specific people, and next to people who are already somewhat famous or famous in general. So that way they could start kind of generating some news around like my own name and my own face and be recognizable that way. Which I was like, okay, like whatever, that seems fine because that's networking, you know? But eventually, after I had told him, as well as the girls that had talked to me, I was like, hey, I just like kind of need a moment to think about this, because one, also like sex trafficking, like that's a huge thing. And these people consistently target like young girls who want to like make it big and think that if they just like kind of do whatever, that they'll eventually get there. I'm not that naive, so I'm fine. I have faith that I will just, things will work themselves out for me. But anyway, I needed some time to think on it. I got back to them. Oh, sorry, I bumped my tripod with my foot. I got back to them about it, and I was like, hey, like, I don't really know, like, can you explain it a little bit more? And so they were kind of elaborated, and they were like, you know, you have to really think about your image. And they had said, like, you know, New York, for example, which is on the other end of the US, is a lot more artistic, whereas like where they're based, which was in LA, a lot of it is influencer culture and celebrity culture, and that has a lot more to do with your image and your reputation than just your talent and your arts. And I don't really give a shit about that. Like, I post fairly often. Like I've said, I've done this for so long at this point, but it's not like any of that matters to me. Like I said, like who I am when I'm actually posing and in front of a camera is a lot different than who I am in my private life, because that's my private life. It's private, you know. You can't have control over that. And so and also too, like I have to protect that. Like you'll never see me post my siblings. You'll never, I've posted my mom, you know, but my siblings are all like below the age of like 9. Yeah, 9, you know. And I have 3 of them, and people are weird. So it's just, you really like, you can't be putting that out there. So anyway, they pretty much had said that I needed to focus on my image and my reputation. And part of being seen at these events with specific people would also entail me being friends with specific people and dating specific people and looking a certain way and acting a certain way and not being able to say what I wanted. And like, I'm so political. Like, that's such a thing. I'm so open about this, as well as like just my life experiences, because like I said, I feel like people really have this like set idea of what it means to be a model or an actress or whatever, you know. And my life is not perfect. Like I deal with a lot of mental health issues, and I've gotten a lot better with it, but it's been like such a theme in my life. And so there's that, like it's you know, like I deal with life stuff just like anybody else. And it's kind of insane that I have to say that. But anyway, so they essentially like wanted to control my friendships and my dating life, and I just I can't do that, you know. I can't fake the love that I have for people. It's really hard for me to ignore like I guess like my intuition or like what my heart is telling me. And yeah, I can't do that. Like I would have just been living such an empty life, and for what? You know, like to be famous? Who cares? Like, genuinely, you know, the whole reason of why I wanted to act and model as a job is just because it's fun. Like, I didn't really want to do that because I wanted to be well known or anything. And honestly, now that I am well known, it's pretty annoying sometimes. Like, of course, I'm grateful for the people that I've met and that I interact with, and also like the very small little fan base that I do have, because like some people I genuinely just don't know, and they just like really love my work and they've been really loyal with keeping up with it, and I love that so much. So thank you guys. But you know, that was never the intent. And I think when you're acting or you're like pursuing some sort of career with that as the intent, it's never as good as you think it may be, because it's not coming from you. So all of the stuff I do is very intentional now. And that's also something I had to learn when I was a lot younger, because when I was younger and I was insecure and I was doing this, that was what I wanted. I wanted to be known. I wanted to feel successful, and like what I was doing mattered. So now I feel like it's a lot more human. And I really like that. I feel like people can only really truly relate to you when you're putting yourself out there, you know, in an authentic way, because people do see through it as well, you know. So yeah, that's why. Like I said, I can't really say who it was because I signed an NDA, but that's what happened. it honestly, like, I don't know. I'm so cautious about who's in my life and who isn't at this point. And, the people that I am genuinely very close to, it's because it's taken years for me to feel that way, and have trust that it's not going to fuck things up for me. So, that's my freaky experience with the sponsor. I literally like got asked to sell my soul pretty much. Oh, and also, okay, one of the calls that I had with this investor guy, I like I put it out there. I was like, my one boundary that I have with modeling, like, it's not like I would do nude or anything, but like, like Selena Gomez's like album cover where she's naked, like I would do something like that because that's pretty and that's tasteful. It's not like I'm like shooting porn. Um, no hate towards OnlyFans people, by the way. I don't care what you do. That's just I wouldn't personally, and that's just my opinion. And like, you can live your life differently. I'm not going to judge you for it. Obviously, your life circumstances are different, but I'm not going to go out of my way to sleep with somebody or date somebody or befriend somebody in order to advance my career, because that's just so, like, one, it's unethical, two, it's unprofessional, three, it gives people so much control over your life and the trajectory of it. And I just, I can't do that. I really value my freedom. I value my independence. And yeah, there's, I can't give up the people that I love or like my friends for fame or money. And being an independent actor as well is like really, really nice because you can just like choose what you want to apply for and what you want to book, as well as like just work on like fun independent projects with your friends. But yeah, I just can't do that. And that's okay. I think they did try to make me feel like it was kind of like, this is your one shot at being famous. And I'm like, is it though? Like, I feel like if I'm ever meant to be famous, it's like it's because I'm going to get recognized for my talent and my authenticity. It's not going to be because I'm like genuinely trying to pursue that. So, yeah, that was the experience. I have them blocked, so I really like don't have any further updates, but it was just it was really eye-opening. Like I said, I already knew Hollywood was pretty controlling in that way. Cher Lloyd had even talked about her record label trying to get her to sleep with like Justin Bieber in order to advance her career. And I'm grateful that I was warned beforehand, and that I do have friends that genuinely do see me for who I am instead of just what people think that I am. Um, yeah, and that's always, that's really important, especially the further you advance into your career, because like I said, people have this idea that this life is so glamorous and it's so amazing. And like I said, like I love meeting new people. I love going to these like film festivals and stuff. I love just like being part of it. But it's not like we're all like, in penthouses and drinking champagne all the time, et cetera, et cetera. Like, most of the time, people aren't getting paid very much, depending on like if you're doing union or non-union, or like even if they're abiding by labor law standards. There's just like tons of factors to it. And I'd rather have a life of authenticity and rawness and empathy than image and fakeness and reputation and shallowness, because I'm not a shallow person. I deal with so much all the time. I'm always thinking, I'm always feeling everything. And that's something else I can get into the more I have this YouTube channel. But that's why. And I hope that whoever watches this, if you ever deal with something similar, don't think that you need to be, act, or behave a certain way in order to get what you want, because truly what you want, like truly want, is going to come when you're aligned with what your heart wants. And I don't know if that was straightforward enough. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. But yeah, it was a pretty defining moment in my career. So I thought this might be a really good story time to upload. And also, like, people have asked about it before, and this gives me an opportunity to really explain it in depth. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're, like I said, if you're not from Instagram, my Instagram is Ariana Donovan with 2 A's at the end of Ariana. And yeah, thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.